Hello and welcome to the Hot Pink University classroom.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Christy.
Good evening, Ann.
Gotta love this fun technology. Here we go again. Love it.
I do. I love it because it reaches out to you women out there who decided that you wanted to kick it up a notch in 2017. To you women out there who can't always have access to us as we come to you from the central Wisconsin and the south central Wisconsin area. To women out there who are just hungry for what's possible in this year for yourself. Welcome to the Hot Pink University classroom and this webinar where we are going to uncover some of the most common struggles that we see women have in the work that we do through Hot Pink University.
And also that we occasionally have ourselves, right?
Exactly, yes. We don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. So sometimes we are going through our own personal pains and struggles, and we want to dive in a little bit with you on that topic and clear some of that as we enter into this brand new year, clear away some of the things that might be limiting you from the life that you desire right now.
Right. Like my little video clip the other day as I sat in the car wash, right? Thought to myself, here I am on the eve of the new year cleaning my car. What am I wanting to dust off and clear off and clean up for 2017 for me and my bod and my relationships? So yeah, I'm excited. We have a ritual now, Christy, at Hot Pink University of creating a connection to the women that are already in our tribe and a shout out and an invitation and, a little enticement, can I say, to women who are right there on the edge and wanting and curious. And I've really come to love our New Year ritual of reaching out to women. It feels good. And we're doing it a little bit differently this year, and we certainly have more technology. Thank you for that, Christy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really pretty cool to have the ability to create a webinar now and not just be on the phone, but real interaction.
Yeah, I think women can really connect and just being able to see you. So much of how we communicate is part of our body language and who we are. And when you sign up to work with somebody like the work that Ann and I do with women, you really want to know who is it that's on the other end of the line with me? Who is it that I have the potential to really help me facilitate the most transformational change that I desire for myself? And so just a little bit about myself. I'm Christy Cosbemis, and I'm one of the audacious broads of Hot Pink University. And we've worked together for several years, about 6 years now, in really creating some amazing tools and techniques to really support women that we work with. A little bit about myself. I am a mother of 5 children. 5 children. And I also have a grandchild on the way that's coming, which we're so excited about. So we have a blended family. My husband has 3 children. And then I have my son. So I'm a mama. And then we have a daughter together. And so it's been a roller coaster ride, as any of you from blended families, whether it's your family of origin or the family you've chosen to create, it really trains you up in life. How's that? So I'm a mama. I am a psychotherapist. I've been in private practice in psychotherapy for 12 years and working now, doing some consultation and doing Hot Pink University. But I'm also an artist. I love to paint and use mixed media, especially with some of the women that I work with. I love the use of music and writing and poetry and journaling. I'm a very creative spirit. And I am also the co-author of our book, Ignite Your Life, that Ann and I co-wrote together this past year, and that we just launched this holiday season in 2016. So that's a little bit about me. I've worked with women in some kind of women's wellness way for the better part of a decade, almost going on 2 decades now. And it really became a passion of mine through my own personal transformation after I left my first marriage and was really coming into my own in my mid to late 20s. I had this passion, this purpose, this drive to gather women and work with them in powerful ways to heal and transform and grow into the best possible version of you that you can possibly be in this year and the next year and the next year, because we're always growing, we're always transforming. So that's a little bit about me.
And I love you.
I love you.
And I was going to say absolutely everything about you, but we try to be honest here. So I love 99.999% repeated.
That's pretty good odds. I'll take that.
I love all of you, all of it, right? And so, okay, so here's a little bit about me after that wonderful introduction. And well done, Christy. I love that you particularly accentuated your artist self and your creativity, because out of all the stuff I really do love about you, that is something that moves me repeatedly. As a matter of fact, I used a piece of your artwork today in therapy with a client as an example. And then said, jump on for the vision board meetup that she's doing next week. So yeah, Matt and No, my beautiful bodacious partner, and I'm Ann Zoe. I'm the other chick that makes up the team of Hot Pink YOUniversity. And what struck me as I was listening to Christy and the nature of the call that we're going to do and the webinar we're going to do with you tonight is that she shared already that out of, my story changed and my picture looked different than I thought it was going to, out of challenge, out of endings of a relationship, out of, mucky stuff, the hard stuff. She really tapped into her transformation. And so I will say to you that my desire and my vision of Hot Pink YOUniversity took on many forms through the years. I've been a psychotherapist for 30 years, the majority of that in private practice. I've seen my practice change through the years. I certainly still work with all kinds of people on all kinds of issues. But I will say to you that I work a lot with women. And over the course of the last 7 to 10 years, I regularly found myself hearing the same kinds of things from women, saying the same kinds of things to women, identifying in my own world with the kind of things that women were bringing forward. And I think it was just an evolutionary journey really out of that initial desire to help people heal into a desire to move into the, okay, well, I'm doing better now, which, most of the time people do. I'm pretty good at what I do, and people are really motivated to get better. I really found myself drawn to okay, so I'm stable, I'm better, I'm feeling well, what comes next? So what now? And I think, Christy, you can relate to this too from a history of psychotherapy. So the story of my drive and draw is that I really believe in my heart that the divine feminine energy that we create when we come together as women is one of the, if not the most important element to our evolutionary journey as human beings, and to really continuing to move forward and making this world a place that finds its balance between masculine and feminine. I dig being a chick. I really love women, and I believe that amazing, powerful, transformational things happen when women come together. And so that was my journey into Hot Pink, a move away from the psychopathology part of psychotherapy and into what next? What do you want more of? How do you're better. How do you get great? And also, I'm a woman. I really, really wanted those things myself. I live in a small central Wisconsin area, but I'm an extremely visionary, progressive person. I regularly have people say to me, I'm not sure exactly what this means, but regularly say, gosh, you don't sound like you grew up here. I'm very visionary. And I'm always desiring to expand and explore and grow. As a matter of fact, our words for 2017, Christy, right? Mine is expansion.
Mm-hmm.
So really that was the unfolding for me into Hot Pink. And in terms of in my own personal life, I am one of so many things. Like I'm a writer, I'm a creator, I'm a convener, I'm a mama of a young adult son who I'm so unbelievably proud of. And I can say without hesitation is absolutely developing into what we like to affectionately and respectfully refer to as hot pink dudes. I love being a mama. And I have to say that for all the times I spent really pretty out of balance by history that have taught me the lessons along the way, I have a super great, balanced, wonderful, joyful desire to grow this grown-up relationship with my son and the love of his life. So yeah, what am I? I said writer, adventurer. I'm a traveler. I like to be out there in the world. I like to taste and touch and smell and see and move and do and meet all of the people and cultures and things that I can. I believe our world is a great, big, beautiful place. And I just really enjoy and want to explore and expand my ability to kind of get people moving. I've got a vibe and an energy that usually I can get people to step out, right? Step out of that zone, think differently, try something different. And certainly I am. You know, I just turned 50 this year. And I am so on fire for this next stage. I'm really excited for it. And I think that I can take that energy and import not only into passions in my own life, but into the women that we work with and the tribe that we build and the men that are hot pink dudes and genuinely understand women and the importance of divine feminine energy. And so, yeah, I'm kind of like that Alanis Morissette song, right? I'm a lot of those things all rolled into one, which is true of Christie as well. Really, it's true of all women. We're pretty amazing, complex, beautiful, layered creatures. Yeah. So that's me. and my unfolding and draw to this unbelievably deeply held passion that is Hot Pink YOUniversity.
And I love all of you as well.
Thank you.
And as we move forward, I think about some of the different pains and struggles that I've had in my life that really allow me, both you and I have gone on and gotten our master's degree. And that allows us to practice, as a psychotherapist. However, my PhD in life has been invaluable to the work that I do with Hot Pink YOUniversity. I think psychotherapy takes women to just such a place, and then they're hungry for more. Or some women that I've worked with over the years are erroneously in psychotherapy for things like depression, anxiety, and different things, when really it's a mismatch of where they are at in life, or the choices that I've made, or the resentments that I've built because of years and years of habitual ways of showing up, habitual ways of thinking, habitual ways of looking at the world through those lenses that sometimes need to come off, and really to reevaluate where I'm at and the choices that I've made and what kinds of transformation needs to come out of this. And also those women that say, I'm fine, no, I'm fine, I'm fine. And really they're showing up in the world as angry or depressed or fearful of everything and not taking the risks that really elevate us to the next level in life of what we can truly be. And those are the women that are drawn to the flame of Hot Pink YOUniversity, I believe. Those are the women that are ready to be ignited. So if this is you, if this is speaking to the choir for you, stay tuned, because I think that the next 20 minutes that we spend with you will be invaluable to uncovering and clearing some of these things that are holding you back in this next year of your life.
Right on, because like we've said, it's 2017, it's a new year, right? And so I would like to start out maybe by talking a little bit about a theory that definitely I developed over time in psychotherapy. I think it's a damn good one, and we use it a lot in Hot Pink as well. And that is, I'm going to start off with a personal pain story or an obstacle story around what we see regularly, in ourselves, in our own personal relationships, and definitely in the women that we have worked with in our private practices, and certainly in Hot Pink. And that is one of the limitations that happens, one of the struggles, or as Christy likes to refer to them, shit sandwiches, is the idea of how we can repeatedly fall into whatever the manifestation of our victim role or victim story can be. And my theory is that we fall into one of three basic patterns or roles in our relationships. We can be a victim, a survivor, or a thriver. And victimization happens. As psychotherapists, we regularly work with people in the victims and survivor place. Hot Pink YOUniversity recognizes that. We work very deeply and very personally in a very connected and integrity-based way with women to deal with their obstacles and limitations. But as we say in our book, we don't linger long there. We don't. Because truthfully, ask yourself this. If I said to you right now, could you list 6 or 10 things that you struggle with? I'm sure you could, right? We generally know the things, right? But we find ourselves continuing to repeat. So one of the things that's a common theme is the idea of falling into victim. Even if you've moved into survivor mode or you've started to taste thriving, often we can get triggered back. And so for me, I will share an example of a victim pattern that I will own. And that is much less significant than it used to be. But for those of you that read the book, or those of you that will be reading the book, or attending any of our more full immersion or intensive play shops, we generally will start by giving you our stories a little bit. One piece of my personal story that is without question a trauma and pain story is that I lost my father in a car accident. And my mom was really, really seriously injured in that accident. And my pattern in survivor, in my family system, was oldest child, which I am, big sister, good girl, responsible girl, do the right thing, take care of stuff, make sure everybody's okay. So I'm sure you can guess what happened when we had this horrific tragedy in our family. I can put myself immediately right in that role. And I say put myself in it because I do. Victims think they get put in it. I know that I put myself in that role. That's how I thrive now, in the awareness of my victim pattern. So let's fast forward. I've spent weeks and weeks really doing some things that no person would ever dream they have to do, to be by my mother's side while she had surgeries literally in front of me, and major surgeries, while struggling with the reality of losing my dad. So that's the backdrop. Fast forward a few months, and we're at a family gathering together right before the holidays, and one of my sisters, meaning nothing but care and regard and concern, made a reference to something that they felt would be good for them to do rather than for me to do it. And I instantly heard, I'm going to mess it up, or they didn't have confidence that I would take care of it the right way, or when really I know what was happening. It was them trying to balance the scale. What's my victim pattern there? I got sad, I got my feelings hurt, I burst into tears, and lo and behold, during the course of that conversation, managed to point out that they weren't there. They didn't have to see and do those things those first few weeks. I had to do that all by myself, which was partly true. They lived far away, but not totally true. I lost it. All because my victim thinking pattern heard a criticism when really I was being afforded a break, right? And opportunity to receive. And I didn't take it. And that is absolutely a victim pattern for me. It took me a while to get to a place where I could fully own and understand that. I can't say to you all that I don't still sometimes have that predisposition, you know, we can be thrivers. I'm pretty on fire. I'm a pretty fired up chick. And I really do live my life in a way that I madly love these days. Does that mean tomorrow morning at any given moment, I might not have a slide of sorts into? No, because I do. But the beauty in the work we do, the way Christy and I support one another, the tribe and the vibe and the sisterhood we've created in Hot Pink is that we hold each other up. We confront when needed with love. We support and celebrate when we do well, and we stick it out in a healthy way, not rescuing, as Christy says, not Kleenex getting, but right by your side holding space. That's what we do. That's a big piece of it. So one of those recurring themes is how we allow ourselves to fall into that victim speak, right? That victim pattern, helpless, hopeless, defenseless, hurt, criticized. Yeah. So there would be an example of victim thinking.
And I think the impact that we work with women on that is that victim thinking might make you feel as though, or even that victim showing up, might make you feel as though you're getting your needs met, because you might draw in the attention that you're seeking or the sympathy you're seeking, or you don't hold yourself personally accountable for the next best step for yourself. Mm-hmm. The problem becomes is the impact on your relationships with other people, the impact on your relationship with self, stepping into your power, the impact on potential leadership or roles in your life that you really desire, but coming from that place of victim and not being able to stand in your own power stifles you. And the resentment, but also the physical impact on our bodies, the inflammation that chronic toxic victimhood creates in our bodies, creates problems for ourselves, for our cardiovascular system, for, everything related to arthritis, all those kinds of things. And so when we look at wanting to be the healthiest us, the mind-body connection, that place of victim is really such an unhealthy place to be. And if that's not one of your themes, or that's not one of your limitations, you know who those women are, you see them out there on perhaps Facebook or social media. Here's what happened to me. And the problem here is it draws more of the same in.
Of course.
Because how we show up ends up attracting things to us. And so when you see a woman like, wow, she really has awful luck. She's got a flat tire, that bill came due, she had a fight with her husband, her best friend, said, forget it, I'm not coming there for you anymore, I'm not going to show up for you anymore. There is a power that you have and that you draw into you, and if you continue to show up in that victim way, you will continue to get more of the same. I can guarantee the universe will say, yep, dump it on you. Mm-hmm. I would say that I can really resonate with that, and that there was a lot of, just victimhood in my own life. Women go through that with, as you leave a relationship. When I was able to, and these are some of the tools that we use with Hot Pink, and when I was able to really switch that story
absolutely
for myself, I drew in much, much more powerful things. I drew in things that I wanted, not things that I had enough of or I didn't want anymore. And we have the power to do that. We have some tools and techniques that really help you transform your story into one that you can gain power. I always say, like, your mess is your message. Yeah. You can create from those shit sandwiches that we have in life, we can really create something powerful for ourselves. I think the one that I want to tackle a little bit this evening, aside from the victimhood, which I think is really a common one that shows up, is framing our stories and how, those perpetual themes that show up in your life, so that when you are triggered, you go right back to that old pattern of responding and reacting. And if we don't stop ourselves and grow greater awareness, and I don't think you can do that, they say 21 days to break a habit. I think it takes more than that, honestly. And that's why we really hold women in a container of safe space to do the work that they need to do 6 months, and sometimes even sign on to work with us for 12 months, which I think is vital.
Or beyond.
The work they want to do, or beyond. Yeah. But I had this story in my head that really caused me to make a lot of choices in my life that, in hindsight, I just shake my head at my young self and go, what were you thinking, girl? And the story was, I had this drop-dead gorgeous boyfriend in college, and I just wanted to spend the rest of my life with him. He was just eye candy to die for, right? And in the course of our togetherness, I discovered, I think I was like at a Jimmy Buffett concert, that he had multiple different relationships throughout the summer. And I was devastated. He broke up with me, and I was devastated. I was devastated. I made a lot of choices after that out of fear and out of the need for safety and security, including making a choice to be in a relationship that really was not going to be fulfilling for me. And hence, now I'm in my second marriage, right? And so when I look back on that time, the interesting thing about our stories and what we tell ourselves, and that story defined me. I allowed it to define me and label me. And if you're nodding your head and like, yes, I get what you're saying, Christy. It wasn't until about even just, I did a lot of work around that story, and I've grown a lot. But even this is what happened. I reconnected with one of my college girlfriends, and we were out to dinner one night. And when I was framing that story to her, that story that I told myself for over 20 years, right? She said, Christy, wait a second. Wait. You broke up with him. And I sat back in my supper club booth, having my fish fry, and I said, no. And she's like, yeah, you found out that there was, this was not going to be a trusting relationship, and you broke up with him. What was profound for me is the need I had to frame it as a victim story, but also the implications that it caused my life. And had I done some of the work that we now do with women, it would have alleviated a lot of the pain and suffering that I had in my life. When I think about the quote, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. I suffered because I made those choices, and I chose to frame that story in such a way that disempowered me. And here, now looking back at my young self, I dodged that bullet by making the choice that my friend mirrored back to me and reflected back to me. And that was really a powerful frame for me. And I see women do that all the time, Ann, in the work that we do with women. Mm-hmm. They're like this light bulb and like, oh my gosh, that's not how it happened. But that's the frame I made for it, and that's the story I created for it and identified with. And you don't have to do that. Like, you don't have to do that.
So, this is really a powerful one too. If we took maybe just a minute or two, you and I, and share with the people watching tonight, what are the other kinds of recurring themes that we tend to hear on a regular basis that are powerful? I'm not worthy.
He dumped me.
I'm not good enough. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get left out. I'm going to get left behind. Mm-hmm. I don't fit in. Yeah, I don't fit in. Yeah. People aren't going to like me. Those are, we say that with a smile on our face, but the truth of the matter is that they're powerful, recurring themes. And I think, as we were talking earlier about the fact that you can actually have an understanding of the stuff that is your shit sandwich, right? Your obstacles. Most women can identify those things. And where they are is, and I keep doing it, or I keep having this happen, or I keep feeling this way, or I know what I would like. I can sense a little how, but gosh, I can't move. I cannot get that motion and movement, go back, take a look, connect with us. That's a huge part of the brief but powerful work we do around the obstacles, because we really want to move women into what next. But in that work, I guarantee you, right, Christy, when you are caught, you've got recurring theme. There's a recurring theme, or more than one, potentially, that's happening for you that, as you said, Christy, then what we put out there comes back to us, and energy begets energy, right? You had yourself convinced that you were dumped and you broke up with a guy that cheated. Oh. That's the power of our thoughts, right? Really, that's the power that our perception and our story and our theme can hold. So,
and I think another theme that that resonates, and something that I just recently saw unfold for a woman, was the theme of knowing when to let go, and that it's not failure, but it's the best decision for yourself. And I think the beauty of becoming involved with Hot Pink University is you don't have to do any of these alone. I think about some of the lonely nights that I spent after clearly making that decision for myself and isolating myself, and that stems also from old stories that I had about women created through junior high years, because those are just crucial years, and if you don't have a powerful tribe of girlfriends growing up, it creates this identifying women as the enemy. And we do a lot of work around healing that feminine energy, because quite honestly, we don't have to do it alone. And I would even say that you can't do it alone.
Right.
You don't have to, and you can't. And that's where the power of tapping into some kind of tribe. And I know some deeper work that I've done for myself in the last 2 years has been because I signed on with a powerful tribe. I signed on for a leadership group of women. And that has been just powerful in life changing for me. And that's, I think, really what we offer with Hot Pink University as well.
Yeah, and so here's another pain story, another obstacle, another crap sandwich kind of theme that we hear regularly for women, and that is identifying a difficulty that will recur over time in relationships, like difficult dynamics in relationships, right? And I know you so well, and so as I was listening to that, what struck me was how bravely you often tell the story around that junior high time in your life, where you struggle with relationships with women because you got hurt. Look where you are now. I mean, to go from being that woman, right, that young woman who not only didn't have really deep, connected, good, as deep and connected and good as it can be in junior high, right, relationships with women, but had hurtful ones, and right. Found herself in circumstances where here's the truth. We were talking about victim, survivor, thriver. You were clearly victimized, right? To fast forward now, this is a perfect example of what we're talking about tonight. I'm sure in my heart of hearts, Christy, my mom can't do it, so I'm the big sister, and I am going to make sure everybody's okay, and I'm going to take care of everything, and I'm going to be responsible and be a good girl and do all the right stuff and follow the rules, and your girls are really mean. And I get hurt, and I don't feel connected, and I feel like I'm not going to belong or fit piece is one of, those are core dynamics of difficulty and in our relationships, right? That moved us in our journey to tonight, to this webinar, to the book we just launched, to the women that travel the world with us, to the women that sign on for 6 months, 12 months and beyond to really, really dive deep into healing and oh, so much bigger and beyond that. You and I, perhaps, or maybe even likely, wouldn't be in this webinar tonight if you wouldn't have had mean girls experiences.
Absolutely.
And I wouldn't have had a mama that drank too much and loved us but couldn't do it. Absolutely. And those are pain stories. Those are difficult dynamics in relationships that set our belief systems and our stage for trouble, for misperceptions, for some poor choices along the way, for overload, overwhelm, disconnect, worry, fear, all that stuff. And then either, you know my saying, right? Either it's going to get you or you're going to get it. We're here tonight in this webinar and working with the women that the hundreds and hundreds of women we have worked with through the years, and all the women and men to come in part out of those pain stories.
Absolutely.
We get that. We understand it. We work with it. We know the stuff to help you identify and then release and move forward, right? To reframe. One of our most powerful exercises is taking that victim story. I keep thinking back to that night around the campfire after one of our day of play workshops where you told your terribly sad story of losing your sister. That's big stuff. That's as big as it gets from a very clearly human, understandable, sad, hurt victim place. And all the women around the fire, teary-eyed and reaching out in their hearts like the Grinch, right? Like growing 3 sizes for Christie. And then you paused and you took a breath and you retold the story from a place of gratitude and insight and understanding. And thank you for the life experience that brought me to this place. That is the whole nature of what we're talking about in this first of the 2-part webinar to start your new year, right? Is the reality that we all have limitations and pain stories and challenges and fears. What are we going to do with them? What are we going to do with them? You're going to get what we've got to offer you in Hot Pink YOUniversity. That's one of the biggest, best things that you can do is come on board. Take a little of what we've got to offer or a lot of what we've got to offer. I think you can already tell one of the unique things about Hot Pink is that you get 2 of us. And our values and our vision and our desires are the same. Our personalities, our way, our words, our connection, our approach, it's not. We're really 2 really very distinct women who have this wonderful symbiotic dance we do. So you get both of us when you work with us in Hot Pink YOUniversity, which really, I'm going to say, I don't know anybody, I don't know anywhere else out there that in mentoring and coaching and personal growth, you get 2. And we're certainly not going to say 2 for the price of 1 because, that's limiting.
Exactly.
But you really do. You get both of us. And I'm sure you can tell now, those of you that haven't met with us before or worked with us before, that we really do get real and raw and personal. And human beings learn best and move best out of story. So we're pretty real. When we screw it up, we own it. We talk about it. We'll share. So when we say to you that we're here tonight in large part out of our own pain stories, and we have worked with hundreds and hundreds of women around their pain stories, and we know the transformation that can come from it. I know my quote is a powerful one, but it seems a little too simple, right? It gets you or you get it. But think about that for a second, because it's really, really true. At the bottom, at the core, it is what you do with what you've experienced that makes the difference. And I love how you framed Christie. You don't only just get Christie and I. Our entire belief system around Hot Pink YOUniversity is the tribe, the vibe of a tribe, right? Not to foreshadow too much, but in call 2, we're going to be introducing you to the kinds of things that we know work and that you can do to heal pain stories and transform your pain and your challenge and your shit sandwiches into your desires and your passions and your beliefs. And really shifting those pain stories and fears and limiting patterns that makes us, right? That is what makes you open and ready and receptive and on fire to go out and create a life filled with passion, purpose, and play. It's just a human condition that we all have experiences that shape us. And I wish it could always come out of the good, warm, fuzzy, wonderful stuff. But the truth is, most of our major transformation comes out of really hard stuff, right? And it comes out of the tough stuff without question. So I don't know. Are there any others that you can think of, like examples of?
No, I think that feels really like enough. Like that feels full. That's full of fertile ground for women to really kind of consider. One of the favorite concepts that I love in my life is a lot of people will say, you have to, grab life because life is too short. And for me, I think life is really long. And so if you want to live in happiness, and I can honestly say I've not always been a happy person, but 90% of the time I am happy. And that's because of the tools that I use and the rituals that I create in my life and that I share with the women that I work with. They work. And that's huge because there's been a lot of things that we have all been through and that you can all relate to. So I invite you, if you feel called and compelled, to check on the link down below and join one of us in a conversation where if you have questions or thoughts, you will leave an Ignited Life personal planning session with one of us with your next best step. And we also are going to be joining you again for yet another webinar, because we don't want to leave you hanging out there with some step-by-step processes that you could use in your own life to really make some strong transformations. So thank you for your time and your energy for yourself, because you are so deserving.
I love that. And let me end with the idea as we move into webinar 2, that vision and passion in action will manifest. So in webinar 2, we're going to move into that. Here are some things. Here are the elements. These are the steps. This is the stuff we know that takes you from victim and survivor into thriver. And thriver, not who never ever has any of that again, but knows when they do, recognizes, reaches out, takes the steps, does what they need to do to move up, out, through, and back into thriver as quickly as possible. So, yeah, I mean, our next webinar, we're going to heat it up, Christy, right? And you're right. We won't leave you hanging. We're going to give you a really good taste of who we are and what we have to offer and the stuff that we know, tried and true. I'm 30 years into psychotherapy. We're 10 plus years into this journey, Christy. Certainly it's been in a couple incarnations along the way, but we know the things that work, and we also know when we don't know. And we love that we learn all the time from the other women that we have in our life, that we collaborate with, that we joint venture with, and the women that we have yet to meet. So, yeah, great. Thank you for joining us for this. It's 2017 webinar, and what do you really want more of? Join us next call, and we'll tell you some things you could do to get there.
Absolutely.
All righty. Happy 2017.
Happy 2017.